Definition of consequences. Global warming is the term to describe a gradual increase in the average temperature of Earth's atmosphere and its oceans, a change that is believed to be permanently changing the Earth's climate. As you can see in the picture, consequences of global warming: rising sea levels, animal attack, tsunami, increased volcano activity, toxic air pollution, less food, desertification, marine death, fires, mass migration, flooding, and melting tundra.
So here are some of the examples that Gohar just mentioned. Here is an example of animals that basically their homes have been destroyed by what Gohar just mentioned. And the animals, one of them over here is a polar bear which
is totally skinny.
As Gohar just interrupted and said, because of less food that has been around their environment, because less food has been destroyed around their environment, so he hasn't had enough food to eat. As for here is how people, when their homes get destroyed by floods of water, cause them to live. Basically, as you can see, a woman there, she's almost drowning in water instead of being on land. And up there in the other picture, you can see how that affects their houses. Fires, how they kind of destroy houses, as you can see on both pictures. This is a tsunami. How does it affect the houses? As you can see, this is how it occurs. How does it come towards it? And then at the bottom picture, you can see how it affects the people's living spaces, and everything has been destroyed.
Global warming causes wildfires. The effects of global warming on temperature, precipitation levels, and soil moisture are turning many of our forests into kindling during wildfire season. Higher spring and summer temperatures and earlier spring snowmelt typically cause soils to be drier for longer, which causes drought and a longer and more intense wildfire season.
How global warming affects the animals. So the sea levels are rising and oceans are becoming warmer. Longer, more intense droughts turn crops, wildlife, and freshwater supplies. From polar bears to marine turtles of the coast of Africa, our planet diversity of life is at risk from the changing climate. So here are some pictures. Like, this is how normal polar bear look, and this is like after their home was destroyed by the global warming. Like, they don't have where to sit and they just swim and starving when they like have to find land, and then when they find, they're just totally skinny and almost dead. Like some of them that can't make it and they're dying in the ocean.
Global warming and food loss. Food loss refers to any food that is lost in supply chain between the producer and the market. This may be the result of pre-harvest problems such as pest infestations or problems in harvesting, handling, storage, packing, or transporting food. Some of the underlying causes of food loss is included to the shortage of infrastructure, markets, price mechanisms, or even in the lack of legal frameworks. Tomatoes crushed during transports because of improper packaging is one example of food loss.
So we will be talking about the consequences of humans on our planet. We will be covering the following points: pollution, global warming, wars, animal cruelty, deforestation, and natural resources.
What does human mean? Any individual of the species Homo sapiens. Now we're going to be talking about pollution. What does pollution mean? It presents in our introduction into the environment of a substance which has harmful or poisonous effects. How are we polluting our environment? Human activity also contributes to water pollution. Chemicals and oils formed from factories are dumped or sunk into water waste. These chemicals are called runoff. Chemicals can create a toxic environment for animals. Humans litter the land by throwing their trash everywhere. People also pollute the air by using too many cars, having too much factories, and setting fires.
Now I'll be talking about global warming. Global warming means a gradual increase in the overall temperature of the Earth's atmosphere caused by increased levels of pollutants. How did humans cause it? So humans caused it by burning fossil fuels. By burning fossil fuels, it makes more carbon dioxide, which destroys the layer of ozone. If we don't have the layer of ozone, well then the sun rays will pierce through and we'll all burn to death. Deforestation. Plants absorb carbon dioxide, so that means that when there's less plants, well then there's more carbon dioxide in the air. Farming. Livestock produce methane. Farmers also use nitrous oxide while farming. Both gases are green gases that cause global warming. Effects of global warming. So the temperatures increase more in average, extreme weather conditions, ice melt, sea levels rising, sea and ocean acidification, and plants and animals live in areas with specific climate conditions that help them grow. If it changes a lot, they could die.
Now we're going to be talking about war. What does war mean? A state of armed conflict between different countries or different groups within a country. Reasons people start wars: wanting to take control, revenge, money, land, and disagreements. How do wars affect our lives? They cause starvation, poorness, becoming homeless, and lots of debts.
So cruelty towards animals. Here are a few examples of how people are cruel towards animals. So neglect, keeping lots of animals in small places. Violence, hurting for a certain part of an animal, like for the ivory of elephants. Circuses, animal fights, and scientific experiments, and zoos. How did humans cause it? Humans caused all of this knowingly. Some people just like to see animals fight. Some people want to have pieces of an animal to make furniture or jewelry or just to be rich. And some humans have drinking or anger issues that leads them to abuse them. Effects of cruelty towards animals. Animals are going to be extinct because of hunting. So animals that are going to be extinct soon are gorillas, elephants, mantis, rhinoceros, or saolas. And animals could catch diseases, and when they die, or else when we kill them for meat, well then the meat could turn bad and we could catch the disease.
What does deforestation mean? The action of clearing a wide area of trees. Why do people cut trees? For space, to burn them, to make furniture, and to build buildings.
And this is our last topic, natural resources. Natural resources are materials or substances occurring in nature which can be exploited for economic gain. So why do we use natural resources? Humans need to build or make products or objects. So they use these resources as bases to build something bigger. Effects of using natural resources. Deforestation, desertification, extinction of species, water pollution, natural disasters, metals and minerals consumption.
Today we're gonna show you a short movie which was made by us, in which we're gonna explain some more about how the radiation affected the people in Chernobyl. Make sure the
Hello everybody, my name is Vesco and today we're going to talk about consequences. For this topic now, I'm live in Chernobyl, where we're going to speak. So this is tractor for right over here.
Try чистая вода. This is one of our clients after he drank it. Чистая вода.
What is a consequence? A consequence is the result or of a decision that somebody is making or an effect caused by an action. And while we're free to choose our actions, we're not free to choose the consequences of them.
What's an earthquake? An earthquake is the consequence of the movement of the tectonic plates. Like in this picture, there are all of the tectonic plates in the world. The earthquake is when the surface of the earth is shaking. It's produced by the subduction, and the subduction is when a tectonic plate is going under another, like in this picture.
After a very powerful earthquake, the city or the region where the earthquake was can suffer because of massive and very expensive disruptions.
On the 4th March 1977 in Romania, there was a very powerful earthquake which affected the south and the southeast of the country. A lot of counties in Romania, in which were very important cities of the country, were affected, including the capital. The earthquake killed 1,578 people and 1,424 just in the capital.
A tsunami is a long, high wave caused by underwater earthquakes, volcanic activities, or landslides. Huge destruction all around the world. The underwater earthquakes make the water rise up by creating a huge wave. There is also a mega tsunami which is caused by volcanic eruption. The eruption of the volcano and the destruction of the Minoan civilization, that is very old. In 1614 before Christ, the volcano in Santorini erupted. This eruption made the chamber of the volcano collapse into the sea. Also, a huge tsunami was created by the volcano eruption, which caused the destruction of the Minoan civilization in Crete. The blue aerosols, Thera is Santorini, we call it Thera also in Greek. And also here is the volcano, here is the tsunami area. And here the red dots are like palaces and castles, statues in Greece. Like in this part was the Minoan civilization, and like they were all destroyed by the tsunami.
The most powerful earthquake ever recorded was in 1960 in Valdivia, Chile. It was a magnitude of 9.4 to 9.6 earthquake. This earthquake caused massive destructions in the city.
On the 9th of July 1958, an earthquake in Alaska 7.7 created a huge tsunami. So far, this tsunami is known as the largest ever recorded tsunami, with a wave 1,520 feet tall in Latvia Bay in Alaska.
The most affected countries by earthquakes are Indonesia and Japan, because they are between the two tectonic plates.
The most affected zones by tsunamis, the countries where it is more likely for a tsunami are the countries near to the Pacific Ocean, which are these countries with the red dots here all around us. So we have a quiz, so we would like to have 2 volunteers.
What is second one step is you?
Okay, we have
And C, subduction.
What was the second one?
Here's the question, what causes an earthquake?
Tsunami.
Underwater earthquake. What was the second one?
A, volcanic eruption. B, underwater earthquake.
Can I say my answer?
Yeah, what's your answer?
1977.
Yes.
Yeah.
You heard this. I think Crete.
Can you say them again?
Rhodos, Skiathos, or Crete?
Which one you want? No. And you don't know.
Do you have any questions?